talk a little bit about the background. We're going to look at our existing resources and talk about upcoming enhancements. And what I want to do is when we review these resources, we want to make sure we collect your feedback to make sure that what we're doing reflects the intent of the task force. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the computer skills path or now. And we have recently updated it based on the task force report that we received with the level 1 skill recommendation. So I want to make sure we go over that information and make sure it matches up with what your intent is. And then also we'll take a quick look at the information technology page on the key sectors pathway. This page has areas where you can promote industry and recruit people into that industry by having them explore careers so they can learn more about the industry, and also provides ways to help them find jobs. Look at the computer training resources on the individual's pathway. And then we're going to take a look at the key sectors pathway. And as we go through this, I want to make sure, just keep these questions in mind. Is the survey that we use, is it consistent with recommendations? Does our survey lead you to the appropriate next steps? For each of those next steps, do we provide enough information about training for each of those stages? And also, should we have any additional resources on the key sectors pathway? So with that, I'm going to minimize that information. And what we're looking at now is the we navigated to this computer skills area by going to the online the icon approach, or more of a guided approach to walk you through this information. So the very first step is to use the computer skills self-survey. And this is just to walk them through to answer a few questions. It uses like a wizard approach. Do you have, let me go ahead and I'm going to make my computer a little bit larger so it's easier for you to see. Have you ever used a computer before? Yes. Go to my next screen. If I hit next. There we go. Can you identify and use a monitor, keyboard, different things? If I say no, or I'm not sure, I'm okay, I hunt and peck for keys. As I go through this process, it'll ask me several questions, and based on how I answer the questions, then it will provide me with the next steps. So I'll say, no, I don't know how to do that. And when I get to, based on my responses that I provided for those questions, then I'm provided with my next steps. So in this case, it happens to be that I need to go and find more enhance my basic computer skills. So that's basically the self-survey. But let me go back real quick, because we do have a printable online version, printer-friendly version. Monitor, and so forth. These were updated based on pulling information out of the level 1 computer skills recommendations by the task force. And what I would like to do is just to make sure that this survey matches up with what the task force had intended, number one. And in the end, as you look at the questions, it'll say, if you answered no to questions 1, 2, or 3, or, it describes that if you answered no to these certain questions, then you need to go back and take basic computer skills. If you'd answered yes to these certain number of questions, then we'll take you up to an intermediate level. And then if you answered questions yes to questions 13 and 14, we're going to move you into the technical professional courses. So I think that we made sure that we covered everything for the for your level 1 computer skills. And so the level 1 basically breaks it into, at least for our website, you're into basic computer skills, which means a person would need to learn how to, just literally the basics of using, the programs on a computer. And then for the intermediate would be more about learning about like Word and Excel, Access, those type of things. And then obviously the technical professional level is your level 2 and your level 3. Those are your level 2 and level 3 users. So, take a look at these the 13 and 14 questions and think about it. Are there sufficient for right now that would lead them to the technical professional online courses so that they could enhance their skills? Does anybody have any thoughts or comments or right now? And right now we're just simply looking at the initial survey.
Natasha?
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
This is Dave Gallagher.
Hi.
Do you foresee people with the different levels of computer skills coming to the same place for this sort of quick assessment, or are there other options for more skilled users to go directly to the appropriate technical professional assistant?
Yeah, let me go. Here's what I'm. The way I guess I was, again, probably it depends on, I guess maybe how it's used in the setting. Let's just say we have, somebody that says that, or they think they want to go into, I guess a couple different ways. Let's say we have a person that thinks they're in a, an IT technical professional, but they might need like of services where they might have them take the computer skills self-assessment already, early on, so they can get a realistic picture. Like, oh, I thought I'm really good at all these other skills, but I'm really not, a technical professional. But if they wanted to, so you could do the computer skills self-survey, and as I mentioned before, you can just simply go through the questions, answer yes, no, or whatever the level is, and it'll tell you your next steps. You can also go directly to the next steps where it has the definition for the new computer user, intermediate, and technical professional computer users for those definitions. And if you want to take online courses, continue to the next step, then you can go directly to for the new computer users. It'll walk you through. Let me make this bigger so you can see it a little better. The resources that we have currently for a basic computer skill level. And we did incorporate some of the links or resources that were in the task force report. But some of them, you won't see all of them right here because some of them actually fit better under our basic skills because it's more like math or something like So, and then for the intermediate level, again, we have, resources primarily to the Microsoft Office. And then for the technical level, we just have, you'll see you have the Ramp Up, w3schools.com, e-learning center.
Kind of the level one, or folks who don't really have much technical proficiency are probably going to be the ones who are going to take.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say your level, your new computer users and maybe your intermediate computer users would be the ones that would be the primary audience. I really, like I said, I don't really, at least in my experience, I wouldn't assume that a technical professional computer user would not be one that was using this, other than the fact that maybe an intermediate computer user needs a reality check that they're not technical professional.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they want to, maybe they've gone through the process of career exploration and they want to go into IT. This would be an opportunity for them to, take a look at what are, a sample of what's available or what you might do for a technical professional, what type of training. Is that,
Mm-hmm.
is that accurate, or is that?
I think so.
Okay. Did you want to take a look at, I made this larger so it's kind of moving everything over. Did you want to take a look at the definitions, or what would you like to learn more about this particular area? Would you like to take a closer look at the self-survey, or would you like to take a look at more of the, the next steps? What would you like to take a look at? What are you most interested in? Any thoughts?
Well, I guess,
Well, I guess, okay, so basically.
I'll speak up again, I guess.
Okay.
I think given the results of kind of the survey of level one training availability, I think we might like to see kind of how a inexperienced user might be able to access.
Okay, well, so
that
for
you've identified or were identified in the initial report.
okay, so if I went to the computer skills survey, basically all I have to do is say no to the first question, and it takes me to the next steps, and it just gives me a brief overview. Almost all jobs require some basic computer skills, so forth. Click here to find basic computer skills training, and it takes me just to the page that I was at, and so it gives me options. So we have the Microsoft Digital Literacy. The GCF offers a lot of really good courses, and that was, those two were on your list for sure. And I think we had the TLN technology. We had that one on our site before, and then you had the BBC Computer Tutor that was on your list. Some other ones we just had that it's also in our basic skills section is a typing test. Just they have different types of tools that you can use to improve your typing skills.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have the resources for helping them learn about email and being safe on the computer and staying safe while they're networking and so forth. and complete it manually, especially if they're not familiar with computers. But then the other part of that is to, just simply have them take, the computer self-survey, and if they're unable to, if they're not able to use basic computer functions, then it'll take them to this page where they can learn how to use the computer. Of course, if they're really, really not familiar with computers, then they'll have to, probably direct them towards, a basic skills computer class and so forth, something at the local level workshop.
The expectation that the sort of inexperienced level 1 user is going to be negotiating this part of WorkNet with, in an environment where they've got some assistance, or?
Well, I would assume when they come into the resource room, one of the very, first things that, or after, if they're in a workshop, they go through the orientation, and they have a series of things that they need to do. And one of them would be, take a computer skills self-survey. And if you find out that you need some additional assistance, then, follow the online training. But then we also have, this would be like in a work group environment, a workshop environment. And then, if they are like really just honestly don't know how to even do anything on a computer, then they might need, some assistance to maybe get to like this TLN technology. Like literally just have to hit enter. They start learning about all these little things. And so it walks them through the process of, just hitting enter to where they have to practice using the mouse and clicking on something and that type of thing. I mean, someone that,
So you'd say all this is really designed for the user to negotiate it within a resource room context or some other context.
Yeah, like a workshop.
Has some assistance available rather than, at home by themselves or in a library or whatever, where they don't necessarily have assistance.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on.
It can obviously be used from anywhere in the world, but
right.
But the real focus is going to be on that.
Right.
Intermediated sort of.
Well, as for the new computer user, for the intermediate computer user, you just tell them, hey, you need to go take this self-survey, and see if.
No, I just mean intermediated, like they have some assistance available. Yeah. Okay.
Right, for this.
I think that was one of the major findings of the work that this group did, is that online training is fantastic, but they need a little hand-holding to even get to that point. So.
Right. Yeah, you need. I mean, if you just don't even know how to turn one on or what a mouse is or anything, you obviously need to. But that's one thing. I like this. Is my personal thing. I like that one that we were just looking at, the tutorial, because literally you just keep entering. If you can read, you just keep, just making that assumption. And kind of gives you a description of, pictures of what you're doing and that type of thing. So that's definitely for the newbies. And then, as I said, if you want to take a look at the intermediate page, again, it focuses more on like the Microsoft Office, but then like GCF, again, you guys looked at that, but they have a lot of really good, seem to be, in my opinion, a little bit more simple how to access the courses and the training and so forth too. So those are the resources that we have for on our computer skills section.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything? Do you have? And I'll have a place for polling questions and so forth in just a moment. But as far as the technical professional, I mean, do you want to? Do you think? Like I said, I just want to make sure it goes along with what the task force's the recommendations are. So, and I know that the initial report that we received was primarily on the level 1, and I didn't know if you were, working on something in addition to like the level 2 and 3 that
well, I
we
think
would need to.
that was the focus of this particular work group that was invited to this webinar was the level 1 skills.
Level 1. Okay. So right now we don't really need to focus on any of the technical professional.
Not unless there's some interest in doing so.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and go over to our information technology page. Let me go back to the key sectors page. Within Illinois WorkNet, we do have an area for our key sectors. And right now we have the 5 key sectors in information technology. What we call our branding pages. And so businesses can use these branding pages to basically promote their industry, not to sell product, but basically to recruit people into their field so they have a larger talent pool for their industry. And so they simply receive an invitation to to set up a branding page, and the business can update, create their own branding page. It's a simple form basically where they can enter in the information. So you don't have to be a programmer in order to. For the information technology section, I'm sure it's not an issue, but that's available for all of our key sectors pages. Then we also have information here. Again, the idea is to recruit people into that industry. So we have information to help them learn about the information technology area and the different pathways, the career pathways that are within this field. And so with all of our occupations, we always encourage people to look for the demand occupations as they explore careers. And again, this is about how you can promote your company and your IT jobs, one of them being the business branding pages. We also have, to look for potential employers for your area, and then also resources to help find jobs in the information technology field. That's the basic layout for all of our key sectors pages. And I didn't know if there's anything in particular that we should add to this page or talk about.
Again, I think within the context of this particular work group, I don't know that the sort of the target population of level 1 skills is necessarily going to be, they're going to utilize information technology within their occupational field, but not necessarily
just interested in learning more, about going into this field, and that's the intent of this, is to basically recruit people into that field. So anyway, it's a resource that's available, and then I want to go through and take you through our our workplace skills definitions, but then just, if you don't mind, going ahead and give me some of your feedback on these areas. Um, the level and definitions that we have for the new user. Again, the new user and the intermediate user are the ones that we are considering. Your level 1, and then the technical professional, those are more industry specific. So those would be for your, what we consider your level 2 and 3. And then the self-survey questions, I mean, if you want to look at that again, I'm not sure if you had an opportunity to really go through and digest all that ahead of time, then we can go, I can bring that up and we can look at it more closely if you want to. Okay. Yep, and then so I see that you have suggestions for the new computer user and the intermediate. If you could just make sure, you type in your chat box, type in the question number and then your comment with that, just so that I make sure that I interpret, or when I go back to review the information, I put it with the right area. And then if you didn't have anything for question 6, which is talking about the key sectors page, just type in something that, just so that I know that either it's, you know, the information covered is okay, or not necessarily applicable to what you're talking about, with this particular task force. Or, again, the intent is for the key sectors page, is to recruit people into that key sector, make them interested in wanting to go into training for the information technology. One of the things that we did have, again, it depends on what level you are with the new computer user. We did have, um, before we made some updates, a link to find a location near you. So that would be a place where we could add that link back in to find some programs. But then also, the other thing that we could do is tie them back to the local events, local promos, because many of our partners use the news and events to promote and local promos to promote their workshops. So for the question for the links really do not go to intermediate level assistance, what should we be sending them to that's free? Okay, the free links do not lead to advanced level assistance. Should the link to assistance know that the industry can help the individual proceed with appropriate career? So for the question 4 and 5, I see you typing. Okay. Because what we can do is take them back to find a training program. But yeah, we can take them back to find a training program. And I guess the thing that we would need to do, though, is if we're going to take them back to a training program, we should give them some advice on what training programs to look up.
In terms of content or location or both?
Well, location is depending on them, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They can just use our Find a Training Program search
Mm-hmm.
and, search within, zip code, X number of miles radius, or, look at it that way. But what they would need to search on primarily is like their training program. So if we gave them like some keywords to search off of to enter into that using that search.
Yeah, and I do think with the technical professional computer users, they probably have a pretty good idea of what they're looking for, and in particular, probably what certifications they're looking for. So maybe something that ties directly to available certifications through the training programs that are available. Connect the training programs to the certifications that can be attained through those programs. Because at that level of user, chances are that's what they're really looking for. Maybe not an Oracle program, but a particular Oracle certification, and they're looking for a training program that's going to help.
Okay. So do you guys have any
get them
resources
that particular Oracle certification?
Okay. So do you have any resources, or because I don't know that. That's not my, my level of expertise. So I didn't know if you guys could provide some feedback on, what should be there. I mean, they can go to community colleges. We can look up by training program, but, if we need to look up by certification, is there some way or some tool that we can use either to pull that so we don't, become out of date before we can even update it, or, is there something that...
I know I see that Colleen White is on the webinar as well. She works with CompTIA, which is an IT industry group that on their website they have a really nice tool that kind of shows the universe of available certifications. As far as the connections between those certifications and available training, I may have to follow up with Colleen to see if there are.
We did have
or somewhere else have resources that we can.
We did have I see Colleen just wrote in, yes, I'd recommend the roadmap that Dave mentioned. Is the roadmap, it's not the Microsoft roadmap, is it?
No.
Okay, it's a different one. Okay.
I mean, this roadmap includes available Microsoft certifications, but it's much more universal than that.
That's awesome. That's good.
And they, for the most part, these are certifications that are directed at different levels of technical professional users. So it's not really this level 1 population.
Should we have that on the key sectors section as well?
Oh, I definitely think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that would be really helpful on, in both areas, so if they happen to stumble upon it one place or the other. Yeah.
Because I think, the certifications are a current currency that's used to identify potential employees and what their skill levels are.
Okay. So should it be with the intermediate? Because the intermediate's level 1. Should it be with them too? Because I saw Greg said the roadmap is a great tool for intermediate and advanced. I just want to make sure I'm
Definitely for advanced, but
okay.
there's some applicability for intermediate as well.
Okay. Good. 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 Good.
Well, I'll send you that
Okay.
link. You can take a look at it, and then like I say, I can
They are set up, but I just decided to dial in. Yeah, I'm happy to send you the roadmap. I think what Dave is talking about is exactly spot on, and it shows all the certifications and that are available in the marketplace, as well as the different levels of appropriate for a different level type of user, all the way from beginner to expert. So I think that's a really appropriate tool.
Is it a document or like a wizard, or what type of?
It's a document, but it's an online link that's interactive. So if you want to see all the certifications of certain vendor only, where if you were looking for Microsoft or something like that.
in Oracle database certification, and there is a road of those certifications that this maps to. That you start with lower level certifications and you build on those to go through your career.
Okay. Well, good. That'll be wonderful. I appreciate that.
So I think the question is, how do you connect certification testing itself is usually done elsewhere, but
well, if you have links
training available
to like possible types of job titles. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Greg actually put the link up. Thanks, Greg.
Okay, good. Thanks.
What also is nice about this roadmap is that it does map to job titles or job functions.
Right.
So it kind of interacts all together.
Yeah, because then we also have the tools for exploring jobs and finding training programs. So as long as we know a job title, then they can use the Find a Training Program search and find a training program that's near them.
I see.
So kind of like our first step would be, well, I have to look at it and put it all together, but, use more of a guidance approach, like here, use this roadmap. And then, or even we might, we could make it like an activity where, they can save the results if they're logged in. So they could go to the roadmap, take a look at it, jot down some notes, and then use that for their, that, the results,
right.
And then just enter that into our, Find a Training Program. So we just have to have it mapped out for like their next steps, on that, using a step-by-step approach. I see Greg is typing. So that's my initial thought without seeing it. But you guys are the content experts, so we can put something together and then.
It's a very useful tool because it's highly customizable.
All right. So we can put
like a Flash application that you can
some people can't use it, but
Yeah.
Well, again, I think
you could.
We're talking about technical professional.
But you do have flyers that were just posted internally that I can send you the link to.
Okay.
Also,
that might be good for
what works best for you.
Some of the school. I'm thinking too, like some of the schools, they have Macintosh stuff, and so that would be good just as an option, as a backup, so we don't, exclude anybody.
I say
yeah,
I don't really know exactly what it was written in, but that was my assumption after looking at it.
So
it's more Apple friendly.
What's that?
I said it might have been written in something that's a little more Apple friendly, but
yeah.
Okay, well, great. I'm excited to see to take a look at that. That'll be good. And then is there? I know I'm taking up quite a bit of your time, but I have another area. If you guys have time to look at it, I know we were only supposed to go to 11:45, but I'm going to go ahead and jump over to our next section. And the next section is, and Dave, I know, has seen this. What we've done is we have an assessment implementation work group, and we've been looking at different types of work readiness assessments, and one of those sections is computer skills. And so what we did, we took a look at your task force results or recommendations, as well as some skill areas for all of these that you see on the screen. And so one of those sections is our computer literacy section. And really, you guys are the first ones to see what I'm about to show you. This is the general format that we're going to use is, the first, and this is for each of these sections. So they would click on computer literacy, they'd go to the first page, and it's kind of like an intro to like pull them into the information. And this would be the same format that we use on the tools to find, to like scan them so you can quickly see what skills are expected, and to find like the definitions of what employers expect, and then resources, and then this would be our next steps. So on the first one, now we came up with these scenarios, and of what would you do in this situation? And it's something that's really simple as far as putting together a document, like the ag industry. We try to pick something in the key sectors area, just use computers in every, and all the other areas as well. And sometimes people don't think about so much scenarios for them to take a look at, or they could just like jump into, well, learn what it, mock up of what the page would look like. When they come to the next page, they could, click on the answer. They would have the answer for answer A, the answer for B, and then they would see what I'm thinking right now is more like a table approach. Computer skills. These are the basic definitions. Comprehension. it more interactive for them. And hopefully, if we can use this for the about the whole, feely good. Yeah, I think I'm doing a great. If they feel that they need improvement in this area, then that we'll have enhance their skills. Okay. So then you can take a look at these scenarios and let me know what and go straight to the definitions. And I know that if you do these, then great. Do that. But basically, we have computer literacy, basic computer, and then working with tools and technology. So you're selecting the right. Would you like to do? Because I do have a couple polling questions. Do you, first of all, what do you overall process? When you go to, we have an area called Workplace Skills, and
from these options.
right,
So
yes. Right. So all these would have the same approach, but obviously different content. So the idea is that, first of all,
to
right,
understand.
would you like to do, because I do have a couple this overall process.
I'm sorry if I expecting to be used.
This would be